Razabani for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I'm delighted to have with me on Zoom today, making his IFL debut, Mr. Omar Juarez. Omar, firstly, how are we doing?
I'm doing good, man. Everything's going very good. We have one more week of hard training, so looking, physically, a little beat up, but mentally, man, I'm excited for this fight.
Absolutely. How's the weather currently where you are?
Oh, it's good. It's good. Sun is out, a little bit of a breeze, but everything's good.
Oh, it's good to hear. Good to hear. I know, obviously, last time you were out in April, so you kind of turn around the clock quite quickly and got yourself back out in June. Is it good from a prospect perspective to keep yourself active and busy, because lifestyle outside of boxing can swallow you at times?
Oh, absolutely, brother. But I'm blessed to have the best managerial team in the world. PBC, my managerial team, Luis de Culas, Bob Santos, so that they're trying to build me up as fast as possible at a very good pace. And, I'm blessed. I am fighting 10 rounders. So, there's going to be a big gap, but I'm looking to get maybe, 4 or 5 fights in this year.
Omar, before we speak about boxing, what's coming up and the future, etc., I just want to touch on, obviously, adaptive boxing. I was obviously doing a bit of reading about yourself and the work you do outside of boxing and for your community, in helping the less fortunate. How important is that for you, first of all?
That's been my priority ever since I started boxing. I knew that boxing was going to open opportunities, not just for myself, but for my family and I. And my parents always told me, remember where you come from, remember your people. And I always do, no matter what, whether it's a positive or negative way, whether people didn't believe in me or not, I always told myself that, Brownsville, Texas is going to be known for the home of Omar Juarez. Brownsville, Texas is going to be known, because basically what Pacquiao does for his people. I would like to eventually build schools, build hospitals, stuff like that. But, it's something that I was raised to do.
And giving back to your community, is that, like I know you said, something that you were raised to do, but is that more important than ever now? We see homelessness, we see people struggling financially. COVID-19 hasn't helped many people. Obviously, America's far bigger than England, and the damage in America is far worse in America. So is it more encouraging when there are bad times that we're going through to give back even more?
Oh, absolutely. I feel like the timing was a bit different. That pandemic just really surprised a lot of the people. And I was very fortunate to have the city of Brownsville behind me. So we were every Friday and Saturday in the month of May and June, we were giving out supplies, food, stuff for the less fortunate for free there in Brownsville. And it was a very good turnout. But like I said, it was just something that I was raised to do, something that I never dread doing. And, I'm going to continue to do it as I, excel in my career.
I know you're not just giving back to ordinary people, giving back to the less fortunate and the people sometimes with physical disabilities. But obviously the youth in America, we hear about gun crime, we hear about knife crime, we hear about someone dying every other day. You mentioned Pacquiao there. He's got a hell of a following of young fans. And is that someone you look up to and inspired to?
Oh, absolutely. Ever since I started boxing, I love Pacquiao, everything that he does for his people, his story. It's inspiring, it's motivating. And every time I feel like giving up, I tell myself, there's people that a lot of people have to prove wrong, but the right people to prove right. And, I'm just, sticking to my dream, making them reality one day at a time.
No, absolutely. Wish you all the continued success with that. Omar, 11-0. I think you managed to have 4 or 5 fights in the last year or so. So probably one of the most active boxers in the world. How kind of would you assess your career to date?
Man, I'm blessed. I really am. But, the pace that I'm going is perfect. And I know that my managerial team is doing a very good job. Although I am a prospect, no matter what, I always tell myself that I'm going to be a student of the game. No matter how far I get, I could have a world title. I'm always open to learning, always open to, at the end of the day, the sport will either humble you or you got to be humble or be humbled. So at the end of the day, that's the last thing that I would ever want. I'm never going to get carried away with, all of my success. I am blessed. I am grateful. But like I said, I'm going to continue to stay active, continue to train hard, and continue to get all these experiences,
We live in a time of social media, a time of where fans put pressure on fighters, where fans want their fighters to jump in the deep end straight away. And we've seen that with some fighters. They jump in nice and early and trying to aim for those world title fights. We have other fighters who like to take their time and kind of learn their trade. And like Canelo, get to 25, 26, 27, 28 and 0, and then start to take those next level fights. What's kind of your thoughts? Is it getting the best title shot or financial reward as early as possible, or to learn your craft and for the longevity of your career?
Oh no, I'm trying, brother, I've put my life into the sport. I've dedicated, sacrificed everything, and this is my life. I'm 11-0, and I'm doing it the smart way. They're building me up the right way, building me up here with a lefty, with a tall fighter, short fighter, basically preparing me for those bigger fights later on. So I feel like I'm at a good pace. Financially, I'm fortunate to have everything that I need, and we're going at a good pace. I think that the route that Canelo went was actually perfect, and I think that's something very similar that I'm going through.
Is there like a goal in mind? I know you want to carry on fighting and learn your craft, but is it in 18 months' time I want to be in this particular place, or in 2 years' time I want to be challenging for particular titles, etc.? Do you have like a vision or a goal?
Not really, man. Not really, because anything can happen. Really, there could be one fight to another where I just look spectacular, and they end up giving me a shot after that, or a couple of fights where I just don't look spectacular. Like I said, I'm always gonna be a student of the game, and I feel like I'm going at the good pace. But I'm just working hard. I'm learning more. I'm getting more comfortable in the ring as well, and I feel like maybe in 2-3 years I'll be starting making noise.
Omar, sorry, I lost you there. Just froze, but I got you back. The lightweight division is on fire. The division below you is on fire. The division above you has always kind of been on fire. I kind of want to first touch on Josh Taylor. Obviously, he's a man who's only had 18 fights, and in 18 fights, he's become the undisputed super lightweight champion. It doesn't happen very often. What did you make of his performance, firstly, against Jose Ramirez?
That was very surprising, man, because I knew Ramirez was gonna give him a very tough fight. He's a tough fighter, come forward fighter. But at the end of the day, it's not who's tougher in the ring; it's who's smarter. And I think the whole world saw that how smart Josh Taylor is. Intelligent. He's very crafty, very good counterpuncher, and I saw that with Regis Prograis. But I feel like this fight that made him the undisputed champion really sealed the deal that, wow, this guy is like on another level.
Were you, when you look at his resume, obviously he's fought some of the top names, but in such a short amount of time, he's achieved the ultimate goal of every fighter's dream. Is that something you want to aspire to as well?
Oh, absolutely, man. That's very motivating. I remember watching that fight, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, wow, that's what it takes. He dared to be great, and he did it. So that right after that, I went for a run, stuff like that, got all motivated. But huge congrats to him, and I mean, who knows? Maybe later on, a couple of years, we'll be seeing each other in the ring.
No, absolutely. You never know. I also want to talk about, obviously, a fight taking place this month. I believe it's the day before your fight, Gervonta Davies and Mario Barrios. I know you know both fighters. I believe you've sparred both of them. But before
Yes,
we speak about the sparring, what do you make of Gervonta coming up 2 weight classes? Now, we know he struggled to make 130 in the past. He's had problems on the scale, but he's missed a weight class and jumping straight to 140 against somebody who also jumped from 130 to 140. But Mario is obviously a lot bigger. He's more naturally a 140, whereas Gervonta, we'll see what he looks like. But what do you make of his initial move?
it's risky, man. It's very risky, especially because of his size. But I mean, he's, like I said, he's daring to be great, and those are the kind of risks that you have to take, not just in boxing but in life. He's daring to be great, and I mean, huge salute to him. But I mean, it's one of those fights that you just want to see what happens. There's two elite fighters where anything can happen in the ring.
What was sparring like, but with both of them? Who gave you kind of the better work, would you say?
Very different, bro. It's very, like with Mario, it's very technical. With Tank, I try to keep my my distance away from him. So they're two very different fighters, but I feel like Mario has more of an edge because he's naturally the 140 pounder. And I feel like he's actually big for 140 pounds. He's huge, actually. But it's gonna be an exciting fight, man. It really is. Especially since I sparred both of them, I'm very close to Mario. Practically one of my best friends. So it's exciting, man. It really is.
You gonna pick a winner?
I'm sorry.
You gonna pick a winner?
I'm Team Barrios all the way, man. Team Barrios all the way.
But Omar, generally speaking, we look at that 135 division, and I know they are calling them the Four Kings. They're yet to be proven. Obviously, yeah, the Garcias, the Haneys, the Teofimo Lopez. But you're not far in terms of age behind them, and surely at some stage those fighters are going to move up to 140. Isn't this a great time to be in boxing at the moment?
Oh, absolutely. I know that later on those are going to be like the big money fights, the fights that make the most noise, and I'll be ready. I know that they're obviously at a higher level. They have the titles. They're making noise in the world scene, and I'm only a prospect. Like I said, I'm still learning, but I know that one day that whether they like it or not, or whether I like it or not, we're going to see each other in the ring. But I know I'll be more than ready for that opportunity.
Absolutely. I want to ask you a quick prediction, only because you mentioned his name earlier, Manny Pacquiao. He's the only fighter to fight in 4 different decades. I'm not sure if that will ever happen again, but he's obviously a machine. He's obviously a rare breed. He takes on PBC. He's one of the top fighters in Errol Spence. Can he continue to prove the doubters wrong? And at his age, I think he's 42, 43, defeat an undefeated Errol Spence?
He can, man. He has all the tools, all the physical abilities. We saw even with Broner that he did slow down, of course, because of his age, but that doesn't stop him. He's still a hard worker. He's still very dedicated to his craft. That's the thing with Pacquiao. But I mean, it's a risky fight, man. He has prime Errol Spence. That's very dangerous. And I mean, as of social media, Spence was saying that he did all right in the Danny Garcia fight, that now he's feeling 100% and stuff like that. So it's just one of those fights that you want to see what's going to happen. But like I said, I'm Team Pacquiao all the way.
Absolutely. Omar, always a pleasure. Thank you for giving me a little bit of your time today. Just before I let you go, do you just want to quickly plug where the UK fans can kind of find you on social media, your Instagram, Twitter? Please don't give out your mobile number. Just stick to social media only. If you want to just shout it out.
No, it's on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's at I am Omar Juarez.
Absolutely. We'll make sure we do that. Omar, all the very best on 27th June, my man, and we'll hopefully catch up with you very soon.
Appreciate it, Bird. Thank you so much.
Omar Juarez, IFL TV. Thank you very much.